I'm Mandy.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is The Coop.
This is Coop Faves, where we share our favorite homeschooling resources and adventures.
Today's fave is a time capsule in a book.
Nice.
It's the Q&A A Day for Kids by Betsy France, a 3-year journal.
Super cute.
Super cute. 3 years, 365 questions, 1,095 conversations with your kid. And it's pretty small. It's like 5.5 by 6.5 or something. So it's a 3-year journal, and it seriously will spur on enriching and memorable conversations with your kids.
Nice.
And it's all written down for future fun. So what is it, to be specific? It's a date-assigned question of the day journal. It's a small book with one date for each page with one question on each page. So here's some examples of questions. So you kind of know what you're signing up for if you buy this book. What did you think when you woke up today? Did you hurt yourself lately? What happened? What would you like to get rid of or throw away? I get impatient when. My best friend is. What would you do with a giant cardboard box? Where is your favorite place in nature? Do you ever get in trouble? Describe one time. I'm jealous of blank because blank. Pick a parent. How do you know that parent cares about you? And then under each question, there's an ample amount of space to write answers for 3 separate years. So you fill in the year. There's a spot for it. And then they have a number of lines to write the answer.
Nice.
And then they have a spot for the year, a number of lines, a spot for the year. So that's why it's a 3-year journal, because for each, September 9th, you have 3 sections to write the answers. Yeah. So 3 reasons it's our favorite. It's my kids' favorite thing to start off the day, literally, because they love sharing their hearts. It's a window into their perspective, their joy, what's sitting with them at the moment, and gives opportunity to help them work through something that may have been hard for them to process.
Sure.
And they get to share in doing that with their siblings and me. So it's not like this, I have you alone, so we're going to talk about it. It's
right.
And they get to hear off each other. So my little one has grown up her whole life hearing this.
Yeah.
Number 2, it's a time capsule for their thoughts throughout the year. It's so fun to look back. And I'm going to read some of those here. But we laugh about these ridiculous answers because some of them they're like 2 years old.
It's so funny.
And when my daughter was 2, my son was 6. So even his are still silly. We all get to see how my children's interests, questions, knowledge, and relationships have changed over time and how they've grown over the past 6 years. And it also brings back past memories. I was just looking at this, and a previous question was like, what was your favorite thing to play with this month or something? And I have parade written down for my son. And I forgot that for like a whole year, when he was about 6 years old, he would take out all his toys, all of them, and he would line them up like a parade because we were going to Disneyland and watching the parade. Oh. And then he would spend like 1 to 2 hours parading each of these as floats around the house, singing the song, having his head down on the floor, kind of like his trains, how he would do his trains too. But it was just a different version of that.
So funny.
And I would have forgotten all about that.
Right.
If it wasn't in this book. So it's just cool how it spurs on those memories and for them and for me. And then number 3, it's a quick little activity. I love that it only takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can last up to 30 minutes depending on where the discussion goes, what questions were asked. It's usually me taking them down a rabbit hole. But sometimes it'll take us to books and it'll take us to YouTube videos. It's really fun. Cool. Yeah. So I'm just going to read you a couple of their, just to show what I'm talking about here. So for October 8th, for example, it's blank really tires me out. And so 2016, my son, who was 6 at the time, said drinking a whole cup of water.
It makes him really tired.
But it's funny, right? Like I would have never, that's something you would have never captured otherwise, right? And then 3 years later, he said running tires him out, and his little sister. It's just cute, right? So that one is probably one that if he said his sister and it hurt her feelings, then we would talk about that.
Right.
And then that's a conversation that, again, it makes it go longer than 5 minutes.
Right.
But it's obviously a conversation that needed to be had. Okay, August 9th says, what do you collect? My son, when he was 6, says, my model trains and his sister's money. So he collects her money. So she would have been 4. I have no idea what that means. And then my 4-year-old said jewels, diamonds, beautiful rocks, and money. And then in 2020, so 4 years later, you can see now their interests have developed. And my son says Lego and boogers and shells and sea glass. And my daughter said nails and bottle caps, American Girl stuff, and toys. But then my youngest one, who's now totally in it, which she wasn't really in the first, she says beautiful shells and I'm 5 and I fart as her response to what do you collect. It's the cutest thing, right? Yeah. That's what she said, so I wrote it down. So there's just one more to just show progress that what I was talking about, February 1st. What do you hope for? And my son said, I hope for I can find my baseball on my baseball game and that I go to heaven soon, see a rattlesnake. But then, so that was 2017. 2022, he said that everyone in the world can believe in Jesus and that we have a lot of money. And so it's just fun to see the difference. Right. My daughter in 2017 said for my first tooth to fall out. Mm-hmm. And then in 2022, 5 years later, that we get our bunnies soon. Yeah. It's just such a time capsule, right? Yeah. And so it's really fun. I don't stick to it every single day. I don't stick to it every single year, obviously. That one only had 2 entries, and it was 2017 and 2022. So let's talk about how I use it, we use it. Number 1, when we gather around our table to learn together, after prayer, we dive into this book for the date of the day. I fill in the blank for the year, and for each person, write their initial answer on the line. I actually tell them, think of your answer first, and when you're all ready, then tell me, because I don't want them to feed off each other. Then after I write down their answer, I read their previous answers to the question, and then the discussion, the giggles, the surprise, and even shock ensue. Because sometimes they're like, I don't even remember that person.
Right. What was I talking about?
I know. It's really funny. They even made up someone named Skooky Dookie. And so I referred to him as...
I was looking at that and I was like, who is that?
SKDK. So that's Skooky Dookie. And Skooky Dookie has been around since 2016. And that's usually where the poop and the butt ones come in. And they love hearing what they said about poop and butt when they were in 2016 and what Skooky Dookie was up to that day.
That's so funny.
Okay, number 2, how we use it. If that date is full, I offer to ask it again and find a spot in the margins to answer their question. And then we read all the previous answers again. And then sometimes I will look at dates before and after that date to see if it's been amply answered. While some dates are completely full and spilling over onto the next page, other dates are basically completely blank. It just depends on what we were typically up to at that time of year.
Sure.
So probably around Christmas time in December, it's probably blank because I'm busy. I'm not doing this.
You're not sitting at the table.
Right. Yeah. So I try and get answers in those. So if it's early December and we're doing it and I see, December 11th has nothing. Yeah. Let's go put something in there and make sure we have at least one answer in there to hear again 5 years from now.
Right.
So that just will make it a better time capsule. And now I remind them when they're giving me an answer and they give me a 1-word answer, I say, remember how much joy you get hearing your old answers? And the more you said and the more I wrote down, the more fun it was.
Right.
So then they embellish. That's when they really amplify their answers. So here's more ideas. Try this book at dinner and include everyone's replies, not just the kids. And so I have 2 friends that do that who aren't homeschoolers.
Right.
They do that as their dinner time with their family.
That's cute.
Yeah. Bring it with you on road trips to Starbucks, the doctor's office, or waiting rooms, family events, a restaurant, anywhere. It's a small and light enough to fit into an average purse. It would be a memorable way to spend time while waiting, or it could add some specialness to an experience.
Definitely.
And then give it as a gift to a friend. Mm-hmm. Even if it's not something you think you'll use, it's a great gift to someone, especially someone who just had a baby or it's their first birthday or second birthday. Mm-hmm. The kid won't really know, like, oh, great, I got a book. They don't know. But the mom can see it and be like, yes, I should start this. And then don't feel like you need to do it all the time. There's no commitment. You just check in with this book when it makes sense. And my kids always ask for it. So I'm like, we'll do it. And then there's also a version for teens that I haven't tried, but it's by the same person, Betsy France, the Q&A a day. So check it out. It's super fun and totally worth your 5 minutes a day.
Thanks for listening. We love your support. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast, leave a rating and review to let us know how we're doing, and share our podcast with your friends who need a little community, humility, and joyful fun in homeschooling.